chats are just incredible. With my touchscreen gloves here, bear with me here. Okay, we got Nisa said, we love RSBN. We got Kyle Watt says, thank you. We got a new member, Daisy Rena. We got a super chat from Moana. We got another new member, Michael Honer. Juanito said, I just voted early to keep our president as our leader and commander-in-chief for 4 more years. Hispanics for Trump 2020. And hold on. Another new member, Valerie W. And we got a super chat from Irish Goodwitch. Says, $5 challenge for each rally I watch. God bless you. We appreciate you. Jack Redmond says, Biden murdered SEAL Team 6. Thank you for your super chat. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to RSBN and hit the bell notification so you do not miss a single rally. It is so critical as we have 8 days until the most important election anybody is going to vote in. It is so critical that you support independent, pro-American media. President Trump is fighting for all Americans, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of any of the dividing lines that the left uses to separate us as a country. United we stand, divided we fall. Look at the crowd. Let's show more of the crowd. I'm just always amazed by the crowd here. We're going to show you this crowd. We're the only media that's going to show you President Trump's crowds. Look at this crowd. We got everybody in here. Got everybody in here. Love to see it. Can we get a USA chant? Love it. Love it, guys. Look at this crowd of patriots here. They say Joe Biden's up in Pennsylvania. I can't tell. Where are Biden's supporters? Where are Biden's voters at? I don't see them. Biden's voters are non-existent, man. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. We have got to make our flight because we're headed out to Nebraska. So we got to drive to Philadelphia. So at this point, we're going to sign off, guys. God bless you. God bless President Trump. And God bless the United States of America.
Okay, thank you so much, Mike Nificent, there live in Allentown, PA. We're now going to, hopefully in just a second here, make our transition to the rally there in Lititz. There we go. We are going to be busy. Martinsburg, PA later today, Lansing tomorrow, West Salem tomorrow, Omaha tomorrow, and then we're going to make the trip out west. Now, the thing about this west trip is we expect a third one to be announced later in the day. I don't exactly have a location on that yet, but we're going to be pretty much doing 2-3 rallies per day all the way, if I had to guess, through the weekend. And then once you get to the weekend, you're going to start seeing just incredible feats of strength from the president. Not like you haven't seen it already this entire campaign, but you're going to start to see 4, maybe even 5 rallies per day. Look at this crowd here that just wrapped up here in Allentown, and that's just a small portion of them. So we're going to go live in just a second here in Lititz. What I'm going to do now is, if you're watching this on the Allentown stream, please go and migrate over to the Lititz. I keep saying Lilitz because we have a correspondent named Lilith, but it's Lititz. We're going to go over to the Lititz stream now, so migrate over that way. Thank you all so much for joining us. God bless. See you back here in just a second.
Hi, I'm Father
Hi,
Frank
friends.
Pavone
Father
of
Frank
Priests
Pavone
for Life.
here of
Have
Priests
you
for
joined
Life.
one of
There
the
is
coalitions?
nothing like a Trump.
Go to donaldjtrump.com/coalitions and see where you fit in to support this campaign. There are coalitions for women, Latinos, blacks, veterans, Catholics, evangelicals, pro-life voices, and many more. And remember, support Right Side Broadcasting.
All right, we are 8 days away from the 2020 presidential election, and it might just happen to come through Pennsylvania. Welcome, everybody. I am Brian Glenn as we get set for yet another Donald Trump rally here in the great state of Pennsylvania. We're in Lancaster County. We're at the regional airport here, and I'll step aside real quick and let you take a quick view. As you mainly see, we have seen crowds despite the weather, despite the rain, despite the conditions. People will absolutely show up to a Trump rally. And of course, this state is critical for Donald Trump to win. Earlier, several speakers came out and once again reminded everyone here that if you look back in 2016, Trump only won this state by half a point. And some of these counties, especially around the urban areas here in Philly, out in Philly, especially here in Lancaster County, it's a challenge. So the need to get out the vote in the state of Pennsylvania absolutely exists. Now, we've seen voter turnout so far this year, historical records. Nearly 60 million voters already have cast their vote, either mail-in ballot or early voting. And that you would have to think at this point, is that a younger generation that maybe it's the first time they've been voting ever, and maybe this younger generation is moving up? And of course, in light of all the events this past summer, it seems like that might be a catalyst for many on the left, but also the younger conservative Republican base that's rising up as well in this country. We've seen numbers that are historical as far as new voter registrations, as far as early voters. Before we get into our action, I want to thank our sponsors, because we cannot do this without you and without our sponsors. And our sponsors today is Disney Coins. I'll step aside as I tell you a little bit about our great sponsors. Of course, this broadcast is also provided by the donations of our generous viewers like yourself, and we are so proud that you've joined us for once again another rally here. Well, Disney Coins is the epitome of made in the USA, because they are made right here by machines that are actually made in America as well, of course by people who deeply love this country's, and coins that are made with genuine silver and copper. Now, these coins are valuable and very unique, and it's a worthwhile purchase, which makes it actually a perfect gift coming up for Christmas, I would imagine. Now, come in these 20 plus patriotic designs and plus 2 new designs coming as we build up to this election. Now, everyone here at Right Side Broadcasting, we've been collecting these coins, and we want you to collect them with us as well as we make our way into this election. And you know what? I can't imagine on Christmas morning going over and unwrapping a present and getting one of these Disney coins for that MAGA fan in your life. And right now, Disney Coins is giving 10% of its profits back to conservative causes and organizations, because you know what? They know those causes and what they do to us is so important to you and I. So why don't you start your collection right now of Trump coins? remember, use the code RSBN at checkout for a special discount. And don't forget to join the giveaway as well. It's easy. The more people sign up, the more giveaways there'll be. Go to dismecoins.com. That's DISME coins.com. dismecoins.com. We can't do this show without them, and we can't certainly do it without you. Your donations mean the world to us. If you like what you see and you want to help us, because it takes a lot of resources going around this country. We've got about 6-7 crews throughout this country, all covering these rallies as we make our way into the home stretch here. If you'd like to donate, go to rsbnnetwork.com/donate. That's rsbnnetwork.com/donate. Every donation counts. No matter how big or small, it goes a long way. And remember, we are viewer supported here, and we certainly appreciate all the donations that you give us. It is greatly appreciated. All right, set the stage once again. We are at Lancaster County Regional Airport as we get ready for President Trump to make his way here. Now, he was just in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and this is just one of the many stops for this president here in this very vital state of Pennsylvania. Now, mind you, Joe Biden has taken the day off, and he's actually taking several days off, but he's going to campaign here in Georgia in the next couple of days. That's Georgia, yet another key state in this election. But we have seen this president time and time again do 3, 4, 5 campaign stops in one day. It's unbelievable, and it seems like you would think after 4 long years of all the efforts to remove this president from office, you would see a little bit of fatigue out of him, and that's certainly not the case in this president, as once again, he is going all out in these final 8 days of this election, and it has been an amazing journey with Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're so glad that you're joining us wherever you're watching us from. Why don't you leave us a comment, and actually leave us a comment of where you're watching us from. It's always great to go back and just discover where everybody is from as well. It's interesting that the Gen Z, it seems like they're flexing their muscle. I said earlier, the younger generation flexing their muscle in this election, and it could actually come down to that as well. Back in 2016, 30 million Christian voters did not cast their vote for President Trump, and indeed that could be a difference maker in this election as well. So the need to get out the vote is absolutely a must across the board. And we've had this conversation before that if for some reason, if you're a Christian in the evangelical vote, if you did not vote for Donald Trump in 2016 for whatever reason, it could have been a personal reason. Maybe you don't like his personality, maybe you don't like his tweets, but maybe you might like that he's the most pro-life president in American history, and he is the march for life. He's a right for life, and if that's an issue for you, then I don't see any other reason why you shouldn't vote for this president. He has been so pro-life on that as well. And of course, we talked about Pennsylvania being a very keystone state, a very pivotal state in this election. You know, if you look back historically, you've got swing states, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. These states must go red in order to get this president reelected. And so that's hopefully what we're doing here today. Did you catch the Leslie Stahl interview on 60 Minutes? And of course, President Trump announced that he was going to release an earlier tape of that as he walked off the set due to the kind of, I would say, mean-natured of the aggressive questions from 60 Minutes. And of course, he was criticized for that. But meanwhile, Joe Biden gets the questions, you know, what kind of milkshake did you have today? And the softball questions. And obviously, President Trump talked about that. Some other news, Vice President Pence and some of the inner circle has been tested for coronavirus. And so obviously, precautionary measures are taking place in that camp as well. And so I was watching some of the mainstream news earlier today, and it seems like if you turn on CNN and MSNBC, excuse me, it's kind of a tongue twister there. That's all they seem to talk about at this point is coronavirus and the deaths and the cases. Well, it seems like the message from the president is like, we're going to get by this with common sense. We're going to get by this with medical advice, and we're going to get by this because we're Americans. And of course, a lot of people, I'll step aside real quick. There's plenty of people here wearing a mask, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with wearing a mask. If you're in a high-risk category and you feel like you've got to wear a mask, and certainly wear one, and of course, social distancing as well. But that's been one of the messages with this president is we're going to use common sense with a lot of the approach with COVID-19. And of course, he's promised a vaccine as well coming up, and with distribution through the military. And of course, 43 states just recently is on the rise with COVID, and they call it a dangerous wave. And so we got 43 states with rises in those states. Other news breaking this in the last hour or so is Amy Coney Barrett, the confirmation on her as well. That is a big key issue here. And we've heard several speakers here today mention the fact that that is on the voters' mind. And of course, the president being very criticized for that as well, for pushing that through. But as conservatives, that's absolutely what needs to happen. So we all know if the shoe was on the other foot, by all means, it would be a different situation there. Weather-wise, it's about 55 degrees, spitting a little bit of rain, a little cool. I didn't bring all of my rain gear, so I've been hiding underneath an umbrella for the last few minutes, is trying to stay dry. And I can only imagine, it's been the talk amongst all of us, is how does President Trump, do we expect him to stand on that stage behind us in the pouring rain? And you know what? He's going to do it because he is the most powerful man in the country, and actually in the world at that. Other news, we got a hurricane moving up, and of course, I always fear for severe weather hitting around election time. Now it looks like this Category 1 hurricane will hit along the Louisiana, Mississippi coastlines there, so I don't think it's a major threat, especially towards Election Day. So hopefully that storm can get up out of there and it won't bother anybody into the election. Also, a lot of news breaking on Trump rallies around the country. There was a big one in Beverly Hills, California. Massive Trump rally there, and of course they were met with protesters throwing rocks and bottles and just being vigilant against that protest, or against that rally, I should say, a peaceful protest, if you will. And you see that across the country. I've seen Trump rallies in areas of the country that I never thought I'd ever see a rally. And I've seen people here. We've got Amish for Trump. We've got Latinos for Trump, LGBTQ for Trump. It seems like the popularity of this president has expanded past the base that anyone would ever imagine. Now, if you remember, back in 2016, Trump did fairly well with the African-American vote, but they expect just, if he was to move the percentage up slightly for 2016, let's just say he gets 3 or 4 more percentage points in the African-American vote, he's got this election. And we've seen celebrities, 50 Cent, we've seen Kanye, of course, early on in the election, back the president. That only solidifies what he's done for the African-American communities, as this president time and time again has delivered across the board, no matter what your gender, no matter what your ethnic background. Looking at some of the numbers, African-American unemployment rates, historical lows, our GDP, historical highs, stock market, historical highs. If you look at the economy before COVID, it was strong, it was robust, it was going. I don't know about you, but my 401k was off the charts. COVID comes, hits that a little bit. Of course, we got to reset, and the president has mentioned time and time again that he will rebuild this country's economy, and we'll come back even stronger. Now, one of the things that I saw earlier today was in some of the speeches about the manufacturing jobs that this president has shifted back into the U.S. that went over to China under the Obama-Biden administration. A lot of those jobs coming back here, and of course, Pennsylvanians love to hear that as well. And then we also heard about fracking, and that Joe Biden would get rid of fracking, and they would eventually get away from using oil and petroleum-based products. And that hit hard, especially in the states of California, because there is some petroleum oil refinery rigs out there, obviously Texas, Alaska, and even here in the state of Pennsylvania. We do not want to hear that. Of course, I expect President Trump later today to talk about the flip-flop that Biden and Harris have had on the subject of fracking, as that has been something that has definitely been in the voters' needs. Looking around a little bit, Harris, I caught this earlier on CNN, laughing at the notion of socialism and talking to some of the crowd goers here today. I don't think laughing at socialism is funny. I don't think, and she didn't deny anything about moving to a socialist platform. And that is a big message that we all need to remind ourselves as we move into these final 8 days of election, is that socialism is at the door, folks. Donald Trump is literally the last person at the door to prevent socialism from coming in this country. That's how we've heard it in 2016, that it was the most important presidential election of all time. I actually think that this 2020 election is one of the most important elections of all time. And Donald Trump, without a doubt, is at the door to prevent socialism from coming in and taking over. And we all think that basically the news of the 25th Amendment being brought up a couple weeks ago, that wasn't for President Trump. That was for Joe Biden, because they know if he gets in, and I think they expect to win. You know, the arrogance of the left as far as this election goes, and we saw this in 2016 about the polls were hugely over in Hillary Clinton's favor, which we then found out that they were all completely wrong. But I think the arrogance of the left right now is something to keep an eye on. They honestly think that they got this election wrapped up. And we've seen the rallies, the car-based rallies for Biden and Harris. They just had one a few days ago, and it's almost comical. And I hate to laugh at it because I know they're trying to push the message of we're just being cautious in this era of COVID-19, and I get it to a certain degree, but I also don't understand the lack of enthusiasm that Joe Biden has in this race. And I heard two political commentators this morning talking about the enthusiasm of Donald Trump. And no one could deny the enthusiasm of this president. I mean, absolutely across the country, day after day on these rallies, and even outside the campaign, this president shows more enthusiasm than anyone. But when you look at Joe Biden, you know, he prepared for 5 days. He was in his basement preparing for the debate. 5 days. You would think that he'd be out meeting his voters, meeting his people, right? As he likes to say. Well, Joe, you've been in business and politics for 47 years. I would think you should be prepared for a debate. I don't think you need 5 days to prepare for a debate. And so as we see Joe Biden basically hiding in the bunker once again today, he is going to be in Georgia, I will add that, trying to campaign in that state. The energy and the pro-American vibe that Donald Trump is all about is why these people are here. I'll step aside one more time, let you see that. I mean, as we're just off on the stage on the overflow area here, and it really is amazing to see these people show up. It is misty, rainy. It is cold. You know, maybe cold by my standards, may not be cold by their standards, but they're here. And I don't think you would see 10% of people showing up to a Biden-Harris rally. You just don't see the enthusiasm. That's why I said this 8 months ago. I think he takes 40 states. That's me. I think it's a landslide. I think it takes 40 states. I think all these numbers we're seeing of 60 million people already casting a ballot, it's because they know that the time is changing, that Democrats have let people down so much. Let's go over some of the achievements that we've seen the last 4 years for this president, and we can get a shot of the overcrowd you're looking at right now. This is the side by us. That's the overcrowd area, and we've seen all kinds of people filing in here, and of course they will continue to, I would imagine, come up until the president takes the stage. But let's go over some of the highlights so far in this presidency. Stock market highs, we talked about that. The Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P, all hitting all-time highs previous to COVID. I would imagine, obviously, you know, President Trump, the economy is first and foremost with him, and we knew that what he would do. And I would love all the critics back in the day in this campaign that said, and I don't want to call out some of the celebrities and personalities that were against this president in terms of what he would do to the economy, but what he's done with the economy is unbelievable. It's stock market high. So, okay, we got that. Consumer confidence index reached the highest under President Trump. People know that if you have a pro-business president in office. He's going to take away the regulations, and he's going to make it way more easier for someone to do business in this country, which that's the catalyst. Small business is the catalyst. Getting manufacturing back to the states is the catalyst. We looked at an unemployment rate, an 18-year low, and of course we saw that across the board. Average wages for Latinos was up, the highest average wage they've ever had. Of course, African-American unemployment, all-time low as well. He also ended a lot of Obama-era regulations, a lot of regulations that were put in place that made it very difficult for companies to do business here in the States. And so he rolled a lot of those back as well. And let's talk, and if you remember back in 2016, it was all about immigration, the border wall. Is he going to build the border wall? We've seen him build, I think the last time I saw was maybe 387 miles. I might be off by 50, 60 miles, but the border construction wall, and I expect him to talk about that border wall today as well. And he talks about the construction of the border wall, how it just can't be a brick wall. It's got to be a little bit better than a brick wall. They got to be able to see through the border wall, so they've got some steel piping and things like that. So that is steel on voters' minds here as well. Also, he reduced the illegal immigration in this country, and that was one thing that states like California, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, a lot of states that see illegal immigration go into those states and what it can do financially to those states with illegal immigration. He has certainly controlled that as well. He's also fighting back against sanctuary cities. We've seen this time and time again, and that was a hot topic with the sanctuary cities and fighting back against them and taking away funding and threatening to take away funding and making states maybe change their perspective on protecting illegal aliens, especially the ones that have broken the law. Also, if you look at ISIS, I don't know the last time there was a story in the news about a terrorist attack against U.S. forces. He is basically abolished ISIS and terrorism in general. He has done a fantastic job with that by defeating the most radical terrorist groups in the world. And then, of course, when it comes to the climate, he removed us from the Paris Accord Agreement. And, of course, once again, that's a hot button from the left. They think that's a total mistake. On the people on the right, conservatives, think it's a great move. We were way too deep financially. It just wasn't working out for us. And, of course, a lot of the lies that are spread from the left is that conservatives don't care about the environment. Well, guess what? We care about clean water. We care about clean air. But we want to do it sensibly. And we want to do it where we're not hindering U.S. production and hurting business as well. Also, a big thing, and I've seen this on Facebook quite a bit, was he was attacked and combated human sex trafficking. That's been a big issue for this president, and I don't think we've seen a president in recent history that has done so much to fight human sex trafficking, and he's passed several laws and task force to go to crack down on that, and I think that's something he should be commended for. And the opioid crisis, it seems like that's so 2017, 2018 when we saw that. So many states had an opioid crisis and many people were dying every single week from opioid addiction and overdoses. And so the president definitely cracked down on that to help get that in line. In terms of food stamps, the lowest we've had food stamps in 8 years. There's less people on food stamps. That's a good thing. It means you're making more money. You're not relying on the government for assistance. That is a good thing to get off food stamps. Now, obviously, this is the greatest country in the world as far as having a safety net. And I do believe that we need to have a safety net in our culture because things happen. Unemployment, food stamps, government assistance, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But when it's abused, that is when things can go wrong. And then lastly, Donald Trump has basically forgoed his entire salary, this whole entire administration. He decided, I'm not going to take any money. And he'll speak a little bit about that today, I would imagine, that he says, while the Bidens go into office and they've made millions, he'll say, I'll come out of administration with less money than I had going in. He jokes about that he actually took a pay cut to come here. He'll make a joke, I'm sure, about he had a better plane than when he got here. So this president has sacrificed so much. And I really think that when he first took office in 2016, they thought he would give up as they attacked his family with lies, smear campaigns. I mean, we can go down the list of Russian collusion, the Ukraine, the war against women. He has done absolutely all kinds of hit pieces. I want to remind you that we're only here because of you, because of donations like viewers like you. If you like what you see, comment in our comment box. Tell us where you're from. Share it with a friend. This is a good time. We've got 8 weeks. We've got 8 days left until the election. This is a good time to tag a friend in one of these posts and say, you know what? I think you should check out the president as he will hit the stage here at about, well, it's probably a little bit late. We should be scheduled for 1:30. I don't think it's going to be 1:30, but definitely tag a friend on that. Go to our website as well. Let me step aside. Our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate. That's rsbnetwork.com/donate. Go on there, donate what you can. It doesn't matter the size of your donation. It goes a long way. We've got crews across the country. It takes a lot of money, folks, to fly our crews, rental cars, camera gear, all that stuff to make sure we bring these broadcasts to you. So simply go online to rsbnetwork.com/donate and give what you can. And of course, we've had people here in the crowd before. I was in Carson City. We had people come up and say, here, I want to make a donation right here on the spot. And of course, we appreciate all of that as well. And I think probably the greatest thing you can do right now is share this broadcast and get as many people watching Right Side Broadcasting as possible. I just recently joined the team here at Right Side, and I'll tell you this, I've been with other news organizations throughout my career, and I have never seen the love and the support from the viewers here at Right Side. They absolutely love the coverage we bring to you. So the best thing you can do right now is to give on the website, comment down below, share this broadcast, and tell a friend, because without you, we don't exist here. Just to kind of recap, President Trump will make a speech here at about 1:30. Now, we're in Lancaster County, which is just, you got Lancaster, we got Lititz, I think is what it's pronounced. There's several counties around here that are very critical in the state of Pennsylvania, and so this state, he only won by half a percentage last election. So it is crucial that he wins Pennsylvania. And of course, I think he's got 3 stops here in this state, one earlier in Allentown, and he goes on from here. So Pennsylvanians, it's up to you. If you're watching us in Pennsylvania, let us know, tag it down below, make a comment, because this is a very crucial state that he has to win for this. All right, other news. Let's go ahead and get into our sponsor today. I love our sponsor. I'll step aside. We could not do this without Disney coins. Now, we said it before, and I'll say it again. There is nothing more patriotic than buying a Disney coin. They are made here in the USA by equipment that is actually made in the USA by people like you and I who deeply love this country. These coins are made with genuine silver and copper. These are valuable, and it's very unique, and it's something that if you're a collector, get into collecting these coins, and it makes a perfect gift as we come up on the holiday season. They come in 20+ patriotic designs, and they got 2 new ones as well. Now, everybody here at Right Side, we've been collecting these coins, and we want you to join us along as we move into this election and get as many coins as you can. They make a great gift for any Trump fan in your family. And also, right now, they're giving 10% of the profits back to conservative causes and organizations. So they know how important that is to you to be able to give back to the community and people that share the same values as we do. It's easy, folks. Go to DisneyCoins.com, DisneyCoins.com, and check out the inventory and start your own collection of Trump coins today. And don't forget to use that code RSBN at checkout for a discount. And while you're there, don't forget to sign up for the giveaway. The more people that sign up, the more people will become winners. Go to DisneyCoins.com. That's DisneyCoins.com. We love our sponsors because they make it all possible to do what we are doing. Hey, if you're just now joining us, welcome. We are live in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, right outside the Lancaster Regional Airport here. We're just waiting for our president, Donald J. Trump, to arrive. We plan on speaking typically for about an hour and a half. And this is something that If you've never seen a Trump rally, I don't know what rock you've been hiding under, but it is electrifying. There's probably a crowd here, I'd say, eyeball it, maybe 3,000. A little bit more of an intimate gathering here, which is my personal favorite, a little bit closer to the president. So we see him anticipating arriving between, probably say 1:30 and 2 o'clock, if I'm just guessing here, based upon the last time he wrapped up his previous one. So far, we've seen about 60 million voters turn out. That's 40% of the total voting population. So we're seeing record voter turnout so far. And I saw a conversation earlier today about voter suppression. So I offer up this thought. If we've seen 60 million votes so far in early voting, either in person or mail-in, how can there be voter suppression if we're seeing record turnout? I just don't see the connection there. But yet that's what many on the left are saying, that there's voter suppression going on. Now we have seen several incidents. We've got a ballot box, I can't remember what state it was, that was rejecting some of the votes. We've seen an attempt fire in one of the voting boxes. But to say that there's voter suppression and that these people are waiting in these huge lines to vote, well, guess what, folks? This is a huge election. The lines are going to be long. That's not called voter suppression. That's called there's a lot of people voting. It's like if you go to the grocery store and there's people buying groceries, you got to wait in line. This is the most patriotic thing you can do, is vote in this 2020 election. The most patriotic thing you can do. So when you see the lies on the left about voter suppression, I'd like to argue, where is it? I certainly don't see it, especially when you have 60 million people showing up to vote for this president. And of course, Biden has blamed Trump for the virus and how he handled the virus early on, criticized the president. I'm sure the president's going to talk about that today. Biden and others called him xenophobic for shutting down travel to China. But yet Biden comes back later and says, you know what? You should have closed it down earlier. So the discussion of when the borders should have been locked down to protect our country from coronavirus, that is also an argument that I just don't understand, is when he locks it down, they criticize him for locking it down, and then they flip-flop and go, yeah, well, you should have locked it down earlier. And of course, we've seen just a swell of support as far as the confirmation for Amy Coney Barrett. That is at one point trending as a very important reason why a lot of people are getting out to vote for this president, because it is about being in control and having the right conservative values on our Supreme Court. It is vital that we maintain that. And of course, the left has been accused of packing the court, and still to this day, I don't think Joe Biden has denied packing the court. But once again, that's going to be discussed, I'm sure, as the president hits all the topics on these rallies. You're looking at a little shot of that is our overflow area. They bring people in here very methodically, and they fill the arena up, the space here that we're at, very methodically. It is controlled, it is organized, it is meant to usher everyone in a very civil. Oh, we got a shot of Air Force One just landed. Let's see if we can get a shot of that. That is amazing. And of course, the crowd, I think, had an eye on that before I did. It just, if you want to look real quick, Brad, it's going behind the podium, behind the president. I just saw the tail go back that way. Unbelievable. And of course, that's one of the best, I think that's one of the best moments at a Trump rally, is seeing him arrive in Air Force One. My goodness, doesn't get any better than that. So I would imagine it would probably, in about 5 to 10 minutes, we might see that plane pull up. He'll get off, his press corps will get off. They'll do a quick photo op there at that moment. And then he'll take the stage here. And you know what, folks? It's not raining anymore. This is great. This is great. I don't have to break out the umbrella. I don't have to break out the raincoat. We can all watch him speak without getting soaked. But man, what the tension. You can just feel the energy here. People are excited to see this president. I talked earlier to several people. It's the first time they've ever been to a Trump rally. There's a news organization here in front of us. They're from France first time they've ever been to a Trump rally. And they thought, you know what, it was close to where they were based out of. And they said, why not come by and check out a rally firsthand. But we are excited that you're joining us. Once again, we are only funded by you. It's because of you this broadcast is possible. Once again, go to our website and donate, rsbnetwork.com/donate. You can find out all the information about our network on that website as well. I was asked earlier, I was interviewed by another news outlet about Right Side, and they said, look, we love Right Side Broadcasting for what you guys are doing for conservatives and trying to get out the truth of what's going on in our country, especially at these rallies. And we certainly appreciate their support, and we should appreciate your support as well. Go to rsbnnetwork.com/donate. If you want to follow me on social media, it's pretty easy. You can do that. I am Brian Glenn TV across the board. That's BrianGlenn TV. That is on Twitter. That is on Facebook. That is on YouTube as well. Follow me. I promise I won't offend anybody. So if you believe in conservative Christian values, then I'm probably the person for you on that social media field. We are excited you're joining us. And of course, we are on the road. I know the crew here. I am off to Lansing, Michigan tonight for that rally for tomorrow. And then I'm off to Vegas at Bullhead City, Arizona for that rally. We've got crews across the country, hence the need for donations. It's very expensive to bring all this coverage to you, and we appreciate all of your help. Let me see, I don't know if they're about to make an announcement here or not. Okay, they're faking me out again. But anyway, we saw the president land here moments ago. I anticipate him taking the stage, and we've gone over some of the topics that he'll talk about. Obviously, how important the state of Pennsylvania is in the presidential race. They said it earlier. I think the White House really comes through Pennsylvania. And here in Lancaster County, it's a very vital county as well for the president. Lots of support. As we drove in last night, we saw a ton of Trump signs. And just like, probably like you when you travel around, you don't really see very many Biden-Harris signs. Why is that? But they're leading in the polls. So, you love us. Thank you. We got fans here. Thank you. God bless. We love you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So that's what you get here at RSBN. This is me flip the camera around. Hang on a second. Stay right there. We've seen this all day long. And I told the other news outlets that were here that, well, they walked away now. Yeah, just as I was putting the camera on them, they decided to go away. But that's what you see here. You know, you see the president talk a lot about fake news, and he'll turn around, everybody will turn around and point at the cameras and look to do the fake news thing. And we always say, wait a minute, we're not fake news. We're not the fake news guys. We're bringing you the real, unfiltered, conservative viewpoints. Oh, wait a minute, that's fake news. No, that's not. That's conservative values. That's conservative values, and we want to give you unfiltered coverage of each and every Trump rally. So we appreciate all those guys that have come up here and said a few kind words. But to kind of recap, he's going to talk for about an hour and a half, and he'll address all the key things. And I'm sure he's going to talk a little bit about Hunter's emails and his laptop. I know that is one of these, this is interesting. Now stay with me for a second. I asked my parents the other day what their thoughts were on Hunter Biden's laptop. They had no clue what I was talking about. Absolutely had no clue what I was talking about. And that's what you get. Hang on, let me just step aside here for a second. What you got? Okay, hang on a second. We're going to kick it back to Joe in the studio for a few minutes. We'll see you back here in Lancaster County to continue our Trump coverage. Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Brian. Eastern Pennsylvania, the second rally of the day in a triple header. We were just in Allentown, PA earlier. Now we are in Lititz, and we'll head from here to Western Pennsylvania for the nightcap tonight in Martinsburg, PA. Back around my old stomping grounds of Altoona, Blair County, Cambria County, great area. So thank you all for watching. As you can see, we have the Amy Coney Barrett Senate vote also on RSBN on a separate stream. We'll have it up in a split screen until the president arrives. I wanted to say thank you all for watching. Why is it important to donate to us? Why do we always ask? I know it's annoying sometimes. Because it is I can't even describe to you what is going on behind the scenes. We are working so hard to make sure we're at every single event because we believe that all of you deserve, the folks that are living in some of these areas that, maybe they don't subscribe to cable, they cut the cord. They want to see the full remarks by the President of the United States, and they want to see the entire program. If the president is coming to your area, you want to see the local speakers, you want to see the Pledge of Allegiance, national anthem. If you're unable to attend, the service that we provide is invaluable. This is why we exist at this moment in time. We exist because mainstream media won't do their job. They haven't done it for 4 years. They never give President Trump a fair shake on the campaign trail. It is unprecedented if you knew exactly how we operate here and where I'm coming to you from right now in a little tiny office in Auburn, Alabama, and we're able to beat mainstream media consistently on a day in, day out basis. It is insane that we're able to reach as many people, and we are so thankful and honored to have this platform. We need your help because being viewer supported, not taking on investors, is tough for us to grow and expand and to make it to all of these rallies. Look at all these rallies coming up. I mean, obviously now we're in Lititz, Martinsburg later. Tomorrow we're in Michigan, West Salem, Wisconsin, Omaha, Nebraska, and then we're heading out west. I mean, it's going to get insane. I've had to hire 6-7 camera crews. The money that we're spending right now is crazy. And so we do need your support. If you're able to do it, please support us at rsbnetwork.com/donate. Every penny of that goes towards helping us get to the next event, which we're 1 week out, 8 days out now. And we're just going to throw caution to the wind and we're going to dive into this and make it happen. We're going to do everything we can do. So if you're able to support us, please do it. It's very difficult for us right now, but we're making it. All of us are on very little sleep, including myself. I was up booking travel till 4 a.m. last night again. And so we are tired, but we're energized. So thank you for those of you praying for us. I know we've asked for that before. Please pray for us that we have the energy and the strength and the stamina to continue on to the finish line like our great president does. So thank you all again. I'm going to throw it back to Brian. And again, all day coverage today, tomorrow, and every day up until Election Day of every Trump rally right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network.
Welcome back. We are live at Lancaster County Regional Airport waiting for President Trump to take the stage here. Just moments ago, Air Force One landing here at the regional airport. And of course, the crowd is waiting for him to make his way to the staging area. And I tell you, out of all, this never gets old. This never gets old to see the president and have that plane land and make his way. It's just something that I don't think anybody would ever, the goosebumps are always there as well. I anticipate an energetic speech from the president. I expect him to really recap all the things he's been running on in this election season. Of course, economy, his battle with COVID, fighting how his plan to fight that. Of course, immigration, foreign policy. The last debate, a lot of presidents say that a very different tone he took, trying to win the independents. I would imagine there's three groups of people out there right now, obviously. Ones that are diehard Trump fans, ones that are diehard Biden fans. Then you have those ones in the middle, the independents, the undecideds. The people that said, you know what, I didn't vote for him in 2016, but I might vote for him now. I kind of like what I've seen the last 4 years. And of course, all the stuff we saw in the summertime with the riots and the police and the whole defund the police narrative and the BLM, a lot of people have flopped on that. That law and order is the number one reason that people want to vote for Donald Trump. It's law and order. And if you have a family, who doesn't want their kids to be safe? Who doesn't want their families to be safe? We saw just recently Trump talk about suburban women. They said that Trump was losing his support for suburban women. And I love when he says, and I'm sure he'll say it today, he'll joke and say, suburban women, they love me. They love me. And suburban women, they do love you. I think this is once again a narrative that's being pushed from the left that he's losing suburban women. Folks, we all want our families safe. We all want to live in a safe community. And you don't do that by defunding the police. You just don't do that. And of course, we've seen that narrative time and time again come up from the left of defunding the police, and we simply cannot have that here. And of course, we've seen the thoughts and the opinions of BLM, and of course, Black Lives Matter. We've seen it. When you think about Black Lives Matter, of course, Black Lives Matter. Of course, Black Lives Matter. Absolutely. But the Marxist organization that it is, that's radically funded by the left, is something that is destructive to this country. It's very destructive to this country. The breakdown, the nuclear breakdown of the family is something that is, it's anti-biblical, if I can use that term. It goes against everything in the Bible. Our society is based on the family. Our society is based around God. Our society needs that structure. We don't need to take it away. And of course, that is one thing the radical left has done. I don't know if we got a shot real quick. I see the motorcade coming in over there. Of course, right now the press corps looks like they come in first. Media staffers associated with the president will come first. Typically, you see them in the larger buses there. And then behind that, you'll see the presidential motorcade as well. This is something that if you're just now joining us, we encourage you to share this broadcast. Share this broadcast. If you're at work right now, it's a Monday, you don't want to be at work, you're sitting inside your cubicle, you're on your phone, you're on your laptop, and you're watching us, guess what? Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Because without you, we can't do this. So thank you so much. And I'm going to remind everybody to please go to our website, RSBN, RSB Network, rsbnetwork.com/donate to give for that as well. It's very important. rsbnetwork.com/donate as your donations go a long way. We are moments away from President Trump making his arrival to the staging area. It landed a few minutes ago. We've seen the beginning of the motorcade pull in there. A lot of the press people as well. And you know what? We've seen the enthusiasm despite the weather, despite the rain, despite the temperatures. The enthusiasm for this president is good. It is high. I would imagine he's going to walk out here and he's going to say, Pennsylvania, how you feeling? How are we doing? And they're going to go crazy. Now, obviously, coming in here, we've seen all types of people here. We've seen Amish for Trump, and that was acknowledged earlier by one of the speakers. We've seen blacks for Trump. We've seen Latinos for Trump. A lot of women for Trump here at this rally here in Pennsylvania as well. So Trump definitely hitting all the bases, all the ethnic backgrounds, no matter where you're from. I've seen more love from this president come from people outside this country. It's really interesting how when people travel to this country, they immigrate here, they know what freedom is. They know what it feels like to have freedom and liberty, and they don't want to go back. They simply do not want to go back. I'm looking now. I don't know, because that's a press corps walking up. I don't know if you can get a shot. Oh, I think I do see the president, actually. Let me see. Hang on a second. No, maybe not. Maybe not. A lot of moving parts here. A lot of people coming in from the press corps. It looks like, yeah, it looks like staffers and press people making their way into here. So I would only imagine that we could be moments away from the president as well making his way. And like I said, our crew's out across the country. We wrapped up Allentown, Pennsylvania. Now we have this one here in Lancaster County. And then he's off once again to another stop in Pennsylvania And we've got crews going up to Michigan. I'll be in Lansing, Michigan for tomorrow. And then I'm going out to Bullhead City as the president makes his way out west. And this is something that you would think a president at this point, the amount of energy that has been against this president, that it might slow down the pace. It might slow down the enthusiasm for this president, but it just doesn't with him. He has done stuff, and that's why Americans love this president. That is why he connects with so many people, because he's an everyday person. He is a blue-collar person, and that's why he connects. And you think about this for a second. You know, he came into this whole politics thing from being a businessman, right? So he knows how to relate to the average business person. And that's why I think he's so relatable with blue-collar workers and just your average Americans. Hey, we want to thank our sponsors, because without that, we could not do it. Disney Coin Company, thank you so much. Because of you, we can bring this broadcast to you. Disney Coins is the epitome of made in America by machines that are made in America, by people who deeply love this country like you and I. These coins are genuine silver and copper. These coins are valuable. They're a great collector item. As a matter of fact, they make a great gift coming up for Christmas for any fan, any Trump fan in your house. But everyone here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, we've been collecting these coins, and we've even got 2 more designs. And we want you to collect them with us. It's very simple. Simply go to the website, disneycoins.com. disneycoins.com. Shop, click, save, and get this. If you put in the promo code RSBN at checkout, you'll receive a discount. And who doesn't like, hey, I'll take a discount right now. And right now, don't also forget to sign up for the giveaway. It's a great way to do it. Click the giveaway tab on the left-hand side of the screen. And the more the times you enter, the more winners there'll be. DisneyCoins.com. DisneyCoins.com. I could not imagine getting one of these for Christmas. They make great stocking stuffers. Hey, nothing says Merry Christmas. Here's a coin from the president. Here's a patriotic coin from the president. Come on. Who doesn't want that for Christmas? So go on the website, DisneyCoins.com, and pick it up just in time for the holidays. But man, can you believe 2020 is almost over? We are 8 days away from the election. 8 days away from the election. And we make our way in November, and you got to think back, my goodness, what has the last 11 months been in this country? We have seen so much as we made it in to January on stock market highs. We made it through the impeachment trials, right? We made it through that. Coronavirus hits, sets us back in the economy once again. We go to this massive lockdown in this country. We saw millions of people lose their job, have time off. It's something that we have never seen in this country. And you know what? Those guys behind me chanting USA, that is something we all should be chanting right now. USA, the strength of the Americans is I would think, at an all-time high. We are resilient. We are fighters, and we will get past this coronavirus, and we'll take it on and put it to rest. All right, recapping here, we are live in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, right here in the regional airport as we get ready for Trump to take the stage. They are chanting 4 more years, Donald Trump. You see these continuous chants pretty much all day long, and it's something that and you never get tired of hearing that. As a Trump supporter, I never get tired of hearing that. Hey, you can always follow us. Make sure that if you're following us on Facebook, that's great. Follow us on Twitter as well. You can find us on Twitter. Search it. You can also search me as well, Brian Glenn TV, across the social media platforms. That would be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We are moments away from President Trump making his arrival here, and I would imagine once he comes, it seems like the fans here seem to find him sooner than we do, which is amazing. They've got their eyes out, they're looking, and they kind of pretty much indicate who's when he's getting close by. Kind of recap the media here. Is it crazy? We've got people in front of us are from France. We've got, of course, local news here. We got regional news here, all covering this rally as we make our way in these final 8 days. I just cannot believe we are 8 days away from perhaps the biggest decision in our country's history. it is a big decision. And the way I look at this is a decision on your freedom and your liberty. Do you want freedom and liberty, or do you want socialism? And there's been lots of talk that if Biden wins this presidency, it is moments that Kamala Harris will take over. We've seen the talk on the 25th Amendment. We've seen that conversation go. And quite honestly, I think that's the plan. So it's up to you right now. November 3rd, you have got to get out and vote. We've already seen 60 million people come to the polls, a record, historic. That's 40% of the registered voters have already voted. 60 million votes have been casted. I did mine in Texas, did early voting because I knew I'd be on the road covering the rallies and I wouldn't have an opportunity to do that. So I voted early. I encourage you to please vote early and bring a friend to the polls. It's very important that we rally around, grab your neighbor, grab your friend, grab your seniors. There's a lot of seniors that don't have the way to get to the polls, and maybe they didn't do the mail ballots, so they need a way to get to the polls on November 3rd. So definitely help out there as well. I saw an article this morning talking about voter suppression. I talked about this earlier. How can there be voter suppression when 60 million people have already voted? Historical highs. It's important than ever to get out and vote. I said this again. I want to recap. Christian voters, it is up to you. It is up to you. 30 million Christians did not vote in the 2016 election. That is unacceptable. That is absolutely unacceptable. That could be the difference between President Trump going on for a second term or we go back the other way. And of course, if you're all into, let me step aside. Let me step aside. We got breaking news here. We got, now I see the motorcade coming in as expected. It is 1:49, so he's about 20 minutes behind taking the stage. But nevertheless, the crowd seeing him as well come in. A little bit of applause there. There's nothing like that. What you're seeing right now is so special. It is so special. It's so patriotic. It's incredible. And the excitement and the energy of this president, and I'm telling you, I say this every time, I get goosebumps when this president comes to a rally. Welcome to the rally here in Lancaster County as we get ready for yet another energetic rally for this president. And as a reminder, this broadcast is, it's brought to you by you. We would like your donations. Please go to RSB Network. I don't know why I keep stumbling on that. I got it right here in front of me. RSBnetwork.com. RSBnetwork.com/donate. Every bit of your donations goes a long way. It takes a lot to move these crews around the country from rally to rally, bringing it to you. We're up in, we got another crew in Pennsylvania. We're going up to Michigan, and of course headed out west after that. So we need your donation. RSBnetwork.com, RSBnetwork.com/donate. All right, looks like we're getting closer and closer. I'm seeing some of the Secret Service get out of the cars, making their way. Here we go, introduction. Donald Trump about to take the stage.
Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you. This is a big crowd. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Let's see here. Early in the day. That's a lot of people. They've got themselves a big, big surprise coming, don't they, huh? It's like 4 years ago. Except now we've done it all, so now you know, before I'd come and I'd say, we're going to this, we're going to give you tax cuts, we're going to rebuild your military, we're going to give you regulation cuts, the biggest in history. But now we've done it all, so now you know it's not just talk. The others all talk, no action. This is not talk. We've done it. We've done so much. Hello, Pennsylvania. 8 days from now, we are going to win the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we are going to win 4 more great years in the White House. All right? Our opponent, Sleepy Joe Biden, you heard it the other night at the debate. Did anybody see the debate? That's where he said there will be no fracking, right? No energy. How about 1 million jobs from Pennsylvania? Forget about it. His agenda is one of doom and gloom and depression and despair. He's right now locked in his basement. He's put the lid on, the lid on the garbage can. That's what they tell. Somebody said he's going to make his way out. You see, we had a tremendous crowd before. We have another one of these. And those, well, I love you too. I don't know who she is, but she sounds very nice. She sounds very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. No, he saw what went on 2 hours ago at another location in Pennsylvania. And he said, we better get out. I don't think he said it. His people said, his handlers, they said, listen, Sleepy Joe, we got to get you out of the basement. So they just announced, this morning they announced he's putting the lid on, the lid? And I hear it's for 5 days. 5 days, that's 50% of the campaign. No, but they just announced we had a tremendous just a lot of love, right? And they just announced he's leaving to make a speech. You know where he's going to make it? In Delaware. He always makes it in Delaware. About 3 minutes from his basement. They got to get him out. That's why. They got to get him out. They see what's happening. Our polls are through the roof, and the fake news is, look at all those people back. They don't like to report it. They don't like to report it. Our agenda is one of unlimited optimism, opportunity, growth, patriotism, prosperity, and true American pride. That's what we have. That's what we have. You heard him the other night, this is going to be a dark winter. No, it's not going to be a dark winter. It's going to be a great winter. It's going to be a great spring. For the last half century, Joe Biden's been outsourcing your jobs right here in Pennsylvania. You were one of the biggest victims of it. Opening your borders and sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless foreign wars. They just never ended. Countries you've never even heard of. Now Joe Biden, and we're bringing them all back. Our boys and young women are coming all back. Now Biden is trying to ban fracking. You heard it the other night. Oh, it was so nice. He almost made it through the debate. I was a little surprised. Wasn't great, but he was fine. And then we talked the energy question. And he forgot. He forgot. Now we want to wean ourselves off energy. Oh, that's not so good. And I said, Texas, are you listening? Pennsylvania, are you listening? Now he's going to ban fracking because he has no choice. His party wants to ban it. He's going to ban fracking and deliver an economic death sentence for Pennsylvania and for many other places in our country. And frankly, it affects not just places that frack and oil territory. You know who it affects? Everybody having to do with paying an energy bill. How about the $2 gasoline for your car? That's not bad, right? Remember when it used to be $5.50 and nobody saw an end in sight? We have it to $2 and even sometimes below. At the same time, we saved our great companies, our energy. We're #1 in the world now, by far #1 in the world. And Pennsylvania is a big, big part of it. In last week's debate, Joe Biden confirmed his plan to abolish the entire U.S. oil industry. I said, you mean no more oil, Joe? Well, that's what I mean. I felt like Perry Mason. You ever watch Perry Mason? That last little, it was always the last minute. I did it. Yes, I did. I was Perry Mason. No oil, Joe? She even said, why did you say that? Right? Kristen, who was very good. Actually, I thought she was good. A lot of people thought she was tough. I thought she was very good. I thought she was good. I mean, considering that it was sort of supposed to be 2-on-1 from day one, right? But we've had that from the beginning, haven't we, huh? And here we are. Here we are. No, I thought she was good. But she said that, right? She said, why did you say that? Why? And that's when he really got into trouble. That means no fracking, no natural gas, no jobs, no energy for Pennsylvania families. He will eradicate your energy and send Pennsylvania into a crippling depression, and that's what you'll have. If this guy gets in with the biggest tax cuts, look, I gave you the biggest tax cuts in history. He wants to give you the biggest tax increase in history. He wants to raise your taxes by the most ever. Think of this. All my life I've been watching politicians. We will give you a tax cut. We will cut your taxes. We will cut them. We will cut them. This guy is running against me. We will raise your taxes. Who the hell ever heard of that? I never heard of it. This could only happen to me. And then you have Biden's running mate. How about her? Kamala. She's considered America's by far most liberal senator. She's more liberal than Crazy Bernie. Can you believe it? Even sponsored the $100 trillion Green New Deal, which will destroy our country. Totally destroy. No planes, no cars, no cows, right? No cows. Cows are next. They took it out, but only temporarily. They don't like cattle of any kind. And it's a plan for economic suicide, $100 trillion. If our country did great every year for 100 years, we'd lose a fortune at $100 trillion. You couldn't make that much, no matter how well we did, if everything was going on all 12 cylinders. 100, made up by AOC plus 3, a great student of the environment. I don't think she ever took an environmental course in college. She did go to college, right? But AOC plus 3, I heard she was very upset that I was calling her AOC plus 3. 3 is her friends, her 3 friends that know less than she knows. Joe Biden is a diehard globalist who wiped out your steel mills, closed down your factories, killed your coal jobs, outsourced your industries, and supported every horrible, terrible, ridiculous trade deal for over a half a century. Think of it. 47 years plus. He was a cheerleader for Nafta, the worst trade deal ever made. And I ended it. Remember I used to say, we're going to end it, and everyone smiled. They said, hey, look, give it a shot. I got it done. Nobody thought I could get that done. And USMCA just kicked in, and it's incredible for our country. Less for their countries, but that's okay. They're happy, sort of. Not too happy. He enthusiastically voted for China's entry into the World Trade Organization. That was the beginning of the China rise. That was a disaster. They were flatlined for years and years, and then boom. Thank you very much, Joe. I appreciate it, Joe. Joe and others. Decimating your manufacturing and enriching China at your expense. You know that. You know that China is considered a third world country, and for purposes of that, it's considered a developing country. So they have all sorts of advantages over us in this horrible, horrible World Trade Organization. But we just won a $7.5 billion lawsuit because they know I'll pull so fast out of that mess. That is such an unfair deal. And all of a sudden we're winning. All of a sudden we're winning cases. $7.5 billion. $7.5 billion. They're not too happy about it. No, but think of it. They're considered a developing nation. I said, so we're a developing nation, too. We're developing. They're developing. We're developing. They get big advantages. Nobody ever said. Obama never said anything. Sleepy Joe never said that. I'm the one that figured it out. I said, how come they're getting all these great deals? Well, sir, they're considered a developing nation, whereas the United States is considered developed. I said, we're not developed. You got to be kidding me. They were not developed. We want to be a developing nation also. And so we're having a big dispute. World trade. And how about world health, right? So we were paying $500 million a year. China was paying $39 million a year. China had more access and more power within the realm than we did. So I said, let me ask you a question. Number one, they were wrong on almost everything. I don't want to knock them, but they were wrong on the pandemic. They were called a lot of shots wrong, almost everything. They were in China's pocket. I said, just out of curiosity, let's get down to dollars. Why are we, 325 million people, why are we paying $500 million? And why is China paying $39 million? And China has more power within than we do. So if you don't mind, I withdrew from the World Trade, from the World Health. From World Health. I withdrew from World Health. And I promise you one thing, if we ever go back, we can go back for much less money. That I can tell you. You don't pay 500. No, but seriously. So they have 1.5 billion people. They're paying 39, right? We have 325. We're paying 500. Other than that, it's a wonderful transaction. I say, oh, we have hundreds. I could talk to you all day about it. We have hundreds of things just like that. Pennsylvania lost 50% of its manufacturing jobs after Biden's Nafta and this China disaster that we signed. A decade after decade, vote after vote, Biden betrayed Pennsylvania. He betrayed our country through sheer stupidity. Even his Secretary of State, who was also Secretary of Defense, said he never made the right decision on foreign events, on foreign deals, on foreign anything. He never made the right decision on economics. The guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Do you finally understand this? He repeatedly tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. You know, I think we have. It costs a hell of a lot of money. We're only doing this for very important groups. See that screen up there? It costs a lot of money. Look at these cranes over there holding up the flags. I hope they're being donated by the crane company for the good publicity they're going to get. But that's a lot of power holding up the flags. But you know what? Our flag deserves a lot of power, doesn't it? Now, after years of economic treachery, Sleepy Joe Biden wants to ban fracking. And that's what he is. That's when we have the tapes. Remember, he said, oh, play the tape. This guy went for a full year. We will ban fracking. We will ban fracking like 100 times. I could have this thing running for hours. I just show you a couple. When it goes on. Cecil B. DeMille. when it goes on, right? I just show you a couple. But he went for a whole year. We will ban fracking, ban fracking. Then he got lucky. Elizabeth Warren decided that she wanted to hurt her, her person where the philosophies are the same. So she stayed in. Think of it. Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. All she had to do is get out before Super Tuesday, and Joe would not have won any state, right? Wouldn't have won a state. She took the votes away from crazy Bernie. And Bernie is the best sportsman I've ever seen. He loses all the time, and he's happy. He goes back into Congress. Oh. Is Bernie running again in 4 years? Does anyone know? The press. Look, I'll ask the fake news. Well, they'll give you a fake answer. No, it's true. He's a tremendous loser. He is a tremendous loser. But he did us some big favors. We had a lot of Bernie's people come with us last time because they agree with me on trade. They couldn't have done what we did, but they know that we were being taken advantage of by foreign countries, many of whom are allies. They keep saying, we don't treat our allies right. Well, they don't treat us right either. Got to remember that. They don't treat us right. You don't have to take my word about his record. Just take a look at this magnificent tape that we made for you, for the people of Pennsylvania, and it really pertains to you so much. Go ahead.
My problem is I voted for NAFTA. I'm supporting NAFTA because I think it is a positive thing to do. And I do not pretend to be an expert on international trade matters.
When you ran for president and when Barack Obama ran for president, you both said you would renegotiate NAFTA. You didn't.
Trade agreements like NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations with China, which forced American workers to compete against people who are making pennies an hour, has resulted in the loss of 160,000 jobs.
The president is absolutely right when he says that China has been cheating for 25 years and that Bill Clinton didn't do enough about it, George W. Bush didn't do enough about it, Barack Obama didn't do enough about it.
How exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
The rising China is an incredibly positive development for not only China, but the United States and the rest of the world. Rising China is a positive development. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. We want to see China rise. China is a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion. China is not our enemy.
We talk about China as our competitor. We should be helping.
The idea that China is going to eat our lunch is bizarre.
The idea that they are our competition, they're going to beat us, is bizarre.
China is going to eat our lunch? Come on, man. They're not bad folks.
China's not a problem.
Allowing China into the World Trade Organization, which you supported, extending most favored nation status to China, which you supported, those steps allowed China to take advantage of the United States by using our own open trade deals against us.
No.
Do you think in retrospect that you were naive about China?
No.
Today, we're finally ending the NAFTA nightmare and signing into law the brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. Very special.
Listen, it's hard to overstate the importance of the USMCA. This is the single biggest bipartisan legislative victory for this president and this administration. It is a huge deal.
Wage growth is better than it has been since 2009. That means it is better than it has been for 7 out of 8 of the years that Obama was president.
The new USMCA has powerful protections to keep auto manufacturing jobs. Since the election, we've created 41,000 brand new motor vehicle and parts jobs.
But doesn't he deserve some credit for that? It's better. The USMCA is better than NAFTA.
It is better than NAFTA.
I
never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website.
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel. No more, no new fracking. I'd gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
What about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure and
They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
I have one final question.
Would he close down the oil industry?
It falls.
Or would you close down the oil
By the way, I
industry?
would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I would
that's
transition.
a big statement.
That is a big
In
statement.
terms of business, that's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President.
Goodbye, Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. Make sure you vote properly. No, I'm kidding. What do I have to speak about? Okay, he's going to destroy your economy. I mean, he said it. And then he says, he lies. He goes and says, for a year, there will be no fracking. Then he goes and he says there'll be fracking because he comes here. Somebody explains that you have 1 million jobs in fracking. And he goes, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, well, I never said that. For a year. He said it many, many times. We only put 4 or 5 versions of it up. We could have had them. We could have kept you here all day. And by the way, Barack Hussein Obama showed up too. You know how many people he's drawing at these rallies? Like he's drawing flies. 20, 30, 40. Not quite this crowd. Oh, did you see the other day? You see the other day, Mr. Congressman, a great congressman? He had 41 people, but the press never shows that. They show him speaking. Now, with me, I want the opposite. I want them to show this crowd, in the middle of the day on a Monday. On a beautiful, raining, I mean, it's amazing, right? Middle of the day. It's incredible. No, here's 41 people. They had 22 people. And he gets up, and then they say, oh, he's so rhetorically good. I never thought he was a good speaker, personally. I really never did. Then they say, he's so handsome. He's so handsome. Oh, okay. All right. But they don't want to show, you know what they don't want to show? They don't want to show his crowd. They don't want to show the crowd. And you know what? They don't want to show this crowd for the exact opposite reason. Because this is amazing. And you know what, honestly? No matter where we go, Wisconsin, Ohio, North Carolina, we have crowds. Nobody's ever seen crowds. In the history of politics, and I say it knowing that, they'll change it. In the history of politics, and we have Pennsylvania Dutch. Don't tell anyone, they're great people. They're great people, but they're not known for going out and voting for a lot of reasons. Don't tell anybody, but the Pennsylvania Dutch are voting en masse. Right? They're voting. I heard that the other day. They said, we can't have a man who sleeps. They work hard. We can't have a guy that sleeps all day in a basement. We can't. We like Trump. We like Trump. That's great. Thank you. There's a little relationship there. A long time ago, a little relationship there. Hard workers, incredible craftsmen. You've done work for me over the years. I'll tell you, they can throw up a barn in about 2 days. They can throw it up, and they use the wooden cogs. They don't use screws because they want to make everything themselves, right? And that is the most beautiful place. Really, you do great work. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. In 2016, Pennsylvania voted to fire this corrupt far-left political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first, okay? With your vote, we will continue to fight for American workers. Nobody's ever fought harder. Lower drug prices. I instituted a favored nations clause. The drug companies do not like me. You're going to have a 60, 70, 80% drop in drugs. Last year was the first year in 52 years that drug prices went down. They went down very little, but they went down 52 years. But that's the peanut stuff. The big stuff is favored nations. They are not happy. Big Pharma, most powerful, lobbyists. They spend money like it's water. They are spending more money on me right now than Sleepy Joe in commercials, Big Pharma, because we pay the highest prices in the world. And I said, I want to favored nations where we match now the lowest country in the world. So we go from the highest to the lowest because I instituted something that nobody thought anybody would ever do. And they want to make a deal. You know, they all get paid like $35 million a year. They're very smart. I used to say, if you don't cut your drug prices, I'm going to institute favored nations. Oh, we don't mind that, sir. We don't mind that. We don't mind that. When I did it, they went crazy. They're good poker players. But they want to make a deal. So let's see. Maybe we'll make a deal. Maybe we won't. But in the meantime, you have favored nations. I'm telling you, I see the great Jeffrey Lord there. Is that Jeffrey Lord? You're going to drop Jeffrey, formerly of CNN, and then he became a Trump guy, and CNN said, we got to get this guy off. We got to get him the hell out of there. You look good, Jeffrey. You look good. He's been a great guy, actually. He was in a hostile territory for a long time, but he knew what was right. He always knew what was right. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. We want to support our police, protect our great Second Amendment, defend our borders, and ensure more products are proudly stamped with that beautiful phrase, made in the USA. We're doing that. Remember when I campaigned 4 years ago? I said, we will be saying Merry Christmas again. We do. Remember? The department stores, they didn't like Merry Christmas. That was not politically correct. Oh, yeah? They learned. And they'd say Happy New Year, and they'd have their card in the snow and the whole thing, but they wouldn't say Merry Christmas. They were all saying Merry Christmas again. That's the way we have to have it. I told you that. We will deliver record prosperity, epic job growth, and a safe vaccine that quickly ends the pandemic, which is ending with or without. And we have the vaccines. They're going to be nobody would have them. It would be years before you had them. What I did with FDA, and FDA has been terrific, but it was called a slightly speedier process, okay? And totally safe. We will have the vaccine like momentarily, and we're all set to distribute it before the end of the year, maybe substantially before, but it's going good. But we are going to get ourselves back to normal life. I said normal life. Where we were 7 months ago, we had the greatest economy in the world. We had the greatest economy in the world. We want to get back to exactly that. And we're on a super V right now. You see the numbers, the housing numbers, the automobile numbers, all the numbers, the way they're coming back at a level that nobody's the job numbers. 11.4 million jobs in a short period of time. We will be back very quickly. We'll never forget what China did to us. We will never, ever forget. You know, I signed a great trade deal with China. They ordered the largest order of corn, the largest order of soybeans, beef, cattle ever a few weeks ago, because they want to keep us happy. They want to keep us happy. But you know what? We're not happy. We're not happy. What they did to us, they could have stopped it. They stopped it from going into China, the rest of China, Wuhan, and they stopped it. But they didn't stop it from going out to the world, and that includes us and Europe and every other place, 188 countries. They didn't. Next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. You see it all happening. And watch, you know, Pennsylvania is a late voting state, by the way. You know, you vote late, and I love that. I love that. I like voting a little late because you can see what we're doing. We've done an incredible job with a lot of different things, but you're going to have a GDP number. The Atlanta Fed said, now the highest, I think, was 8%, 9%. It was not, you know, it was high. They projected 35% increase in GDP. Nobody's ever had that. I'll take 25% right now, okay? They projected a 35%. And that number will come out on November 1st, right before the election. So if you'd like to wait, everybody here is sure about Trump, but if you happen to be a little bit nervous, just wait. And we're going to have a 35% or a 25%, but it's going to be magnificent because we are doing great. It's the greatest comeback anywhere in the world economically, and we went down the least of any country in the world. So remember that. I gave working families record-setting tax cuts, largest tax cuts in history. And in my second term, I will cut middle-class taxes even more. We're cutting the middle-income taxes very substantially. We're doing another cut. And what it does, you know, to be honest, it brings more business. It brings more jobs. You have to see, in terms of what we did for business, companies are pouring into the United States. Joe wants to take all of the regulations that we took off, 20 years to build a highway with environmental and all, 20 years. No, they want to take them and they want to put them all back. Now we have it down to 2 years to build a highway, and it could be one, and it may be that you don't build it because of environmental or safety, and that's okay, but you're going to know fast, right? You're going to know fast, and you will build it, but you're going to know fast. 20 years, we have much worse than 20 years. We have highways that have taken 21, 22, 23 years and then never got approved. How about that? You go work on something for most of your adult life, and then they reject it at some environmental board, 3-2. No, we're going to do it in a year. We're getting it down to a number that's, and by the way, it's going to be much less expensive, much better. We have highways that started as a straight road from here to here that ended up like this. That cost 100 times more, much more, because it took so many years. And we're not doing that anymore. We'll put it in, we'll either get it approved or not get it approved. It's a big impact. That's one of the reasons that our foundations are so strong. That's one of the reasons that we can make a comeback. Nobody else can make a comeback like us. We have the greatest country in the world. Thank you. So we gave you the biggest tax cut in history by far, and Biden is proposing the biggest tax hike in history, okay? That will lead to a depression like you've never seen. This is a terrible thing. By the way, this is the most important election in the history of our country. Remember that. Because you have a radical left movement that wants to make us a large-scale, very large-scale version of Venezuela or so many other countries with the same philosophy. And it can happen. You know, 18 years ago, Venezuela was a very rich, beautiful, powerful place. Now they don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have medicine, they have nothing. Nothing. They have oil. It's worthless. The whole thing is like what's happened. This would be a very, very large-scale version of the same thing. And it can happen. When you see these people and what they want to do, it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. Doesn't matter the size. We're much bigger, but it'll happen. We can't let it happen. This is the most important. And I never thought I'd say it, because what we did all together, most of you were with us 4 years ago, nobody thought that anything could ever be more important as an election than that. This is now the most important election we've ever had. It's a choice between a Trump super recovery and a Biden depression, and it will be a depression. It's a choice between a Trump boom and a Biden lockdown. He wants to lock down the country. Now, wait a minute. We understand the disease. We have to take care of our older, wonderful people, our elderly, especially if they have heart problems, diabetes problem in particular, different problems, and we do that. But look, I mean, I got it, and I'm here, right? I'm here. Great. We have great medicines now, great therapeutics, and First Lady got it, and she's doing great. But you know who else got it? Barron. My very tall son got it. He's definitely tall. He's very young, he's very tall, and he's strong. And you know, the doctor said, sir, I hate to inform you, Barron has tested positive. I said, tested positive for what? And they go, corona. They go, you know, there's about 30 different names, right, for this. I call it the China virus because that's where it came from. The China plague. No, Barron has tested. And I said, wow, that's too bad. Well, he's going to be good. So 99.9, right? 99.9. So I said, how you feeling, Barron? Good. Why? What's the problem? He didn't even know. I said to the doctor like 2 minutes later, how's Barron doing? Oh, he's okay, sir. He's fine. I said, what do you mean he's fine? It's gone. The young kids, they have a strong immune system. I've gained such respect for them. They have a much stronger system than we do, whether we like it or not. So it's one of those things. But we have to do that, and it's incredible. But we have made such strides. It's absolutely an amazing thing what we've done in a period of 7 months. Because, you know, I'm the president of the United... Thank you very much. I'm the president of the United States. I can't lock myself in the basement of the White House. I can't. I can't lock myself in a beautiful bedroom in the White House upstairs. I can't do it. I can't do it because we have things to do. We have people to meet, and I'll have meetings. Sometimes I'd have meetings with a lot of people that were pretty much unavoidable if you're the president. I mean, you can go and just lock yourself away. You can't do that. And I'd leave those meetings and I'd say, even with Gold Star families, you know, they're looking for it for months and months, and they lost their son or their daughter or their husband or their wife, and you can't cancel that. And I say, boy, and I'm not referring to that. So many of the meetings I'd have, I'd say, that's a little risky, right? That's a little risky. And then one day you get it, and that's okay. You get better. We have such great, I think, cures. Regeneron, I mean, to me, that was like a cure. I don't know, maybe it would have been fine without it. But let's say I didn't want to take a chance. You know, if I have my choice, I'll do whatever. I often tell, though, I tell the story about, you know, when you're president, you have a lot of doctors. And I had 12, and the best. These great, Sean from the White House doctor is fantastic. He really is. They're great, talented people. And Walter, the Walter Reed Hospital is incredible. I see what they do to our young, incredible soldiers that come back with horrific injuries, and they do a job. And Johns Hopkins, and I'm sitting in bed, and I'm saying, I don't feel so good, doctors. And they say, I say, where are you all from? And I get a list of the who's who of the world, right, these 12 guys. And they each, he says, and they each, thank you very much. I think that's a compliment. But they each have like a specialty. And I'm sitting around, I'm laying there, and I want to get the hell out. But I'm not feeling the best I've ever felt. I haven't been used to that. And all of a sudden, hands go all over my body. I got these 12 guys, they examine every part of your body. You wouldn't believe it. I said, get the hell out of here. I want to get out of here. But I took Regeneron, and the next morning, I felt like Superman. I felt, boom, boom. I said, I got to get back. I got to get back. You don't want a president that's laying in the hospital saying, oh, we got to get back, right? And people get back. 99.9. I mean, you know, and this state has to open up. This state. The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you got to get it open. You have a governor who, by the way, has made it. A governor named Wolf. I'll remember. You know, on my last site, he got them to close it up. We've had a lot of problems getting sites. They believe in freedom of speech, of course, but we've had a lot of problems with this guy. Because, you know, in the last one, we had to move around different sites. He was watching. They don't want us to speak. And this is the guy who's in charge of ballots, right, in this state. So what do you think he's going to do with the ballots, right? And this is the guy that we just sued because they don't want to have poll watchers in Philadelphia. So why don't they want to have poll watchers? What's wrong with people watching the votes? They don't want to have poll watchers. If Joe Biden and the Democrat socialists are elected, they will delay the vaccine, delay the therapies, prolong the pandemic, and close your schools and shut down your country. I hate to say it, you are shut down anyway, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, you're going to have to either get a new governor or he's going to have to open it up. Don't worry. On November 4th, he will announce, we have decided to open up Pennsylvania. No, that's true. I had the same thing in Michigan. We actually sued Michigan and the Constitution. They opened it up. They said it's unconstitutional what she was doing. She was running it like a prison camp, except for one person. Who was it? Her husband. Her husband gets caught going out boating and all sorts of stuff. He was the only one that was allowed to do whatever he wanted. But no, she ran it to, it was terrible what was happening in Michigan. And by the way, we're up in Michigan. We're leading. I have here. And the only reason I'm doing this, remember I used to do it all the time 4 years ago. I got to start doing it again because they give you fake poll numbers. So Rasmussen, which was very accurate, great poll, had us at 53 and 52. We're at 52%. History says that at 52% you don't lose, right? We're at 52%. They don't want to report it. You know, any poll that comes out positive, they don't put it on. I've been told by pollsters, why don't you get it out? It's a great poll. Sir, we do get it out. They will not report it. These people are the most dishonest people. So, ready? Different polls. We're leading in Nevada. We're leading big in Texas. You don't hear that. We're leading big in Ohio. Remember, you must win Ohio. In fact, I hear they left Ohio. They've given up Ohio. We're leading big in Ohio. Jim Jordan, he's a good guy, right, Jim? Ohio. We're leading by 4 points in Florida. You didn't hear that, did you? We're leading by infinity in Utah and West Virginia. We're leading by, forget it, I won't even. We're leading by a lot in Utah. We're leading by 20 points in West Virginia, 20. In Georgia, we're leading by 4 points. And I think it's much more. By the way, 4 points, and then we have Jeffrey Wright, the hidden voter. A lot of you people are hidden voters. They'll say, who are you voting for? Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. That's what happened. Remember, they thought that I lost because the exit polls. And people would ask about, you know, they're coming out. Most in history, by the way, the most in history. They'd leave the poll. They voted 4 years ago. And they'd say, who did you vote for? You know, these arrogant, stupid people. Who did you vote for? It's none of your business. So they'd mark it a blank. And then another one, who did you vote for? Some of them would say, I voted for Hillary Clinton. Is that okay? And they did. They voted for me. They said, I voted for crooked Hillary Clinton. Okay, is that all right? So they'd say, okay, Hillary Clinton. Who did you vote for? None of your business. There's another word. There's another 2 words that are much more effective. Who'd you vote for? Mm-mm. But I won't say it if I do that. The campaign is over, right? She's saying, don't say it, please, sir. I promise. And I've learned. We can't even kid. With these guys, we can't kid. It's a lot of them, though. There are a lot of them on a rainy day in Pennsylvania, middle of the day. So what happened is I was told, a number of people called, sir, I'm sorry to tell you that it's looking very, very bad. Oh, wow. Why? And I had gotten home from Michigan, made a speech at 1 o'clock in the morning it started, so it's election day, with 32,000 people. And she had made a speech, prime time, 7 o'clock, and she had 500. I said, why are we going to lose Michigan? Hadn't been won in decades by a Republican. I said, I think we're going to win. But anyway, we get back, and we did. You know, we won Michigan. We're leading Michigan again, by the way, according to this. We're leading a lot of places that they don't talk about. They don't want to talk about it. You know, it's suppression. They want to convince you. They want to depress you. They want to suppress you. They want you to think, gee, let's not vote. We love our president, but let's not vote because he's not going to win. Well, they tried that last time, and it didn't work. And it's going to work even. I mean, our numbers are much better this time than last time. So you're going to, but you got to vote. I almost hate to tell you because you'll say, oh, now I don't have to vote. He's winning, right? Now you got to go out and vote. But I'll never forget that evening where I was told, sir, no, sir, I'm sorry, but not looking good. Because they took all those people, which was like 42%, that said it's none of your business, essentially, in different forms, and they didn't count them. And they didn't realize that every one of those people that said that was our people. And then all of a sudden I get a call like an hour and a half later from a real pro who's with me right backstage, Bill. And he goes, sir, these are great numbers. Sir, you're going to win Florida. Sir, you're going to win North Carolina. Sir, you're going to win Pennsylvania. He's a political pro. And you know, when I got the first call from a great person, but you know, felt badly because we worked so hard. When I got the first call, I went in to see our great First Lady, who's a great person. I said, First Lady, First Lady. I said, First Lady, sometimes referred to as Melania. I said, you know, it's not looking good. It's not looking good, First Lady. We worked hard. And you know, it's funny, I thought it wasn't going to make it, but one thing, unlike Joe, where he goes into a basement, if he loses, and you know, who knows what happens, right? It's called an election. He should be ashamed of himself because he didn't work. And no, seriously, he didn't work. One thing, I did 5, 6, and sometimes 7 of these in one day those last few days. And during the regular time, I do 2 or 3. Today I'm doing 3 of these. Tremendous crowd waiting for us at another part. This is the second one. So when they told me that information, you know, you feel badly, but I didn't feel bad because I left it. You know, the athletes, they say, we left it all in the field. It was all left. And I did 6 or 7 that day, 6 or 7 of these. This is not like talking in front of 10 people, right? There's a lot of people here. And I did them from early in the morning till 1 o'clock in the morning the next day, which was election day. So I didn't feel. But then what happened, so I told the First Lady, I said, not looking good. She said, do you mean we lost? I said, it looks like it. Then I go in about an hour later, First Lady, I got news for you. I think we're going to win. Because they didn't, isn't it sort of an amazing thing? But they didn't say that they had this tremendous record set of numbers. You know, when you leave, people usually say, I voted for this one, that one, I voted. But we had a record set of numbers, Jeffrey. We had a record set where they just said, it's none of your business. We don't want to tell you. And all of them were our votes. And this was the only guy that figured it out. So we had one of the most exciting evenings in the history of this world, let alone this country. It was all over the world. And we're about to go into an evening in 8 days. Can you believe that? We're about to go into an evening that I think is going to have a similar result and maybe even a bigger margin, but a similar result. And the same thing is happening. You know, a good writer, very good writer, a writer on politics, but a lot of things, Byron York, right? Would you rate him good, right? I think he's good. But I saw him this morning and he wrote something that they were asking him who's going to win. He said, I don't know, because they only show these fake polls. He said, I don't know, but I cover this. He's a great political guy, and he said, I go around and I cover this whole thing. And I'm not only talking about the rallies that Trump has, because he sets them up. You know, we have to take the space, so we have to do. We're organically, there are rallies of boats, thousands of boats all over the place, and cars, and tractors, and trucks, thousands and thousands. He said, there's never been anything like this. He said, I've never seen anything like this politically. There's such a spirit like I've never seen. He said, you have these organic, and Trump has nothing to do with them, but they're rallies where truckers get 1,000 trucks. In Iowa, they had like 2,000 tractors on this massive field. He said, I've never seen anything like this, so I can't really tell you, but I have never seen. And how about these rallies? Nobody's ever had rallies like this. You might have a rally like this. You might have a rally like this on the night before the election, right? The night before the election. But you'd never have rallies. These are massive. Every one. Ohio was so big. Ohio, if you would have added up inside and outside, you had at least 50,000 people. Wisconsin, the same kind of a thing. But he said, forget those. I'm talking about where they just organically form. Nothing to do with Trump. And it's an amazing thing, right? It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing. So we have a spirit. We have a spirit and enthusiasm, which is the most important thing. We have a spirit and enthusiasm that's even far greater than 4 years ago. We had a lot. We had a record. But we have much more. Because we've done so much. Nobody, no administration has done in the first 3.5 years what we've done. When you think we've rebuilt our military, we've gotten the big tax cuts, we've gotten the biggest regulation cuts in history. I mean, so many things. Right to try. I'm just thinking, right to try, where you can now, as a patient, you're terminally ill, you couldn't get anything, you'd have to travel all over the world. Most people didn't have money, they'd go home and they'd die. Now we have right to try, where you can get these advanced treatments that haven't been fully approved. You're terminally ill. They're very hard to get. They've been trying to do it for 40 years. What we've done for the vets, 91% approval rate. So there's more enthusiasm now, by far. And we were known as, that was the most enthusiastic anybody has ever seen a political campaign. The deplorables, remember Hillary? The deplorables. I heard that speech. She said a second word, irredeemable, right? She said, the deplorables and the irredeemables. I thought irredeemables was worse, but that one didn't catch on. Little did she know, whoever wrote that speech, I want no part of them. because the next day, I am a deplorable, I'm a proud deplorable, right? It was the craziest thing. But there has never been a campaign like that. This one has much more enthusiasm. The difference is before I was a guy who was successful, who was saying, we're going to do this and this and this. But, you know, you're listening, you say, okay. Now we have done, according to two of those people, by the way, that I see there, we have done more than we promised, like Space Force. We did Space Force. I never talked about Space Force, right? Think of it. We have now, Space Force, a sixth branch of the military. It's been 75 years since that happened, the Air Force, right? Now, I realized when I was in office that we needed it because I saw Russia and I saw China in particular. And I saw them and I said, well, we need this. And that's very hard to get. And we got it. We did much more than we even talked about doing. But the main thing is we did it. We got it done. And that's why there's even more enthusiasm now than there was 4 years ago. That's a long speech. Let's get back to the teleprompter. Should we get back to the teleprompter or just keep going? Isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't need a teleprompter? How about when they give Sleepy Joe the questions? They give him the questions. We're going to ask you these questions. And then they give him answers, and he's reading the answers. Reporter, sir, could you please ask what flavor ice cream do you have? They never asked me a question like that. What flavor do you have, sir? I have, he wasn't actually sure, actually. I have vanilla and chocolate. I said, they never asked me a question like that. Even Crazy 60 Minutes, you see it last night? She was so hostile to me. And with him, it was softball. But you know what he did yesterday? He called me, he called me George yesterday. He didn't remember my name. I'm insulted by it. I didn't know, was I supposed to be happy or was I supposed to be sad? He called me George. And then I hear the reporter sort of said, no, it's not George. Donald. We can't have this. Look, our country is too important. President Xi is 100% sharp. Putin, 100% sharp. Kim Jong-un, North Korea, 100% sharp. We can't have this. This is not a game we're playing. If Biden and the Democrat socialists are elected, they will raise your taxes, bury your regulations. They will bury you in regulations, dismantle your police departments. You see that? Dissolve our borders. Wall is 400 miles long now. It's almost complete. Almost complete. And it's everything that Border Patrol wanted. We gave them their ultimate wish list. We said, let me see what you want. How about concrete plank? I like concrete plank. It's cheap. They said, no, sir, we have to see through it. We'd like steel because it's stronger than concrete. But we'd like concrete also, so we have the bars, and then we have concrete in the bars. And then, sir, we'd like rebar in the middle, so we have rebar in the middle. No, it's really incredible, and it's had a tremendous impact. It's the safest border we've ever had now, which was a very good time. And Mexico is paying for the wall, by the way, for those people. You notice you don't hear anything about the wall anymore. It used to be like when they thought I couldn't get it done. It was every day. He is not going to be able to get it done. Remember, Pelosi was fighting us like crazy, saying walls are obsolete. We don't need walls. We need drones to watch the people pour into our country. Right? We need a drone 1,000 feet up so that we can watch people pour right in. Now, we have drones, too, and they work off the wall, okay? That's a good combination. But they were just going wild. And then once I got the financing and the this and the that, and then I won court cases all over the place, so we started doing 10 miles a day. So we're up to over 400 miles. We'll be finished very soon. But you don't hear about it anymore. They don't talk about the wall anymore. They want to confiscate your guns, terminate religious liberty, and pack the Supreme Court with radical justices who will shred the Second Amendment. You better get out and vote. And to defend our God-given freedoms, I nominated Amy Coney Barrett. Right? She's going to be great. She's going to be great. She's going to be there for a long time. Going to be there for a long time. And they vote on her today, tonight, today. The Democrats are saying, that's a terrible thing. They do the same. First of all, it's not terrible. Justice Ginsburg said, no, he's the president for 4 years. If somebody comes up in the 4th year, what's the difference? She said, of course, she was referring to Clinton or Obama, I guess, right? She perhaps wouldn't have said it if it was me, but she did say it. And that's the way it is. And they would do the same. Can you imagine Schumer, crying Chuck, saying, you know, well, we think it's highly unethical to appoint a Supreme Court justice, radical left Supreme Court justice, because it's the 4th year. And we think, therefore, we won't do it. Can you imagine that? They would do it. The only difference is they'd do it faster than we did it. Okay? Joe Biden has made a corrupt bargain in exchange for his party's nomination. He has handed control of his party over to the socialists, Marxists, and left-wing extremists. And if Biden wins, the flag-burning radicals on the streets will be running your government, just like in Portland. We want to go in. You know, we stopped them in Minnesota, Minneapolis, we stopped them. Wasn't that a beautiful sight? We should have been allowed to do it a lot sooner. In Seattle, you know, we let them know we're coming in. And the following, like 2 hours later, they walked away. We were all set to go in. I was sort of unhappy that they left. They took over a big chunk of Seattle, remember that? But we let them after a while, you know, because the state is supposed to ask us in. They weren't going to. But we told them, I'm sorry. Where's Hunter? Where is Hunter? He's trying to make a deal with a foreign country to pay him $10 million. Where's Hunter? Remember the T-shirt, Where's Hunter? I was right. Thank you very much for that. Where's Hunter? This can only happen in Pennsylvania, right? I was here for school. So they don't talk about Hunter in the news now. You know that, right? I give a lot of credit to the New York Post, who endorsed me on their cover today. I love the New York. But they don't talk about Hunter because they're not allowed to, because we don't really have freedom of the press. We don't, okay? We don't have. They have totally taken this horrible scandal, the second biggest scandal in the history of our country. The first biggest was they spied on my campaign. That's the biggest. And they got caught. But the second is this, and they won't even talk about it. They won't talk about it. And the tech giants will shut everybody down. And you don't even hear. Here's a guy, had no job, and now all of a sudden he's making millions and millions of dollars a year, and they don't want to talk about it. And they know it's wrong, but that's called the opposite of freedom of the press. That's called the opposite, and they should be ashamed of themselves. And you know, the beautiful thing is that we have a voice, and we're allowed to talk to people. Lots of people. And 2 of those red lights just went off. No, I mean, they're suppressing. You talk about suppression. They're suppressing something I've never seen. Honestly, nobody has ever seen anything like this. Even I mean, I'm not a big fan. I think press is incredible. I think it should be incredible. It's got such potential to be incredible. It would be so good for our country. But even me, I never heard of anything like what's going on, where you're not even allowed to write. New York Times, I don't know if they've ever written a story about it. Washington Post, they totally don't write. Here's a guy who stole tens of millions. He had no energy experience, zero. He knew less than this very young woman up here. Do you know anything about energy? Because if you do, you know more than him. No. He had no experience whatsoever. He was dismissed very unceremonially. I mean, look, he was, well, whatever you want to call it. It was a very sad, it was a sad dismissal. So he gets out of the military, got no job, nothing, and his father becomes vice president, and he gets a job on Burisma, right? And it's a very, got questionable reputation place. It's an energy company, gets $183,000 a month, plus they say $3 million up front to be on the board of a company. Nobody gets that. So he's on the board of Burisma. He then goes and he gets $3.5 million, think of this, $3.5
million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow. He gets $3.5 million. Then he goes to China. He's like a human vacuum cleaner. He follows his father. Then he goes to China, gets $1.5 billion to manage, even though he's never heard of managing money, knows nothing about it, and gets millions of dollars in fees. And then he goes for the big quinella, but that's where it sort of ended. He asked China to pay him $10 million a year because he wants to do introductions. It was an introductory fee, $10 million a year, and I think that's probably at some place where they got caught. But this is pure corruption, and Joe got a piece of it because they said 10% goes to the big guy. Now, unless they have another big guy, he's not a big guy to me. He doesn't look too big. He looks like a big guy. No, he doesn't look like a big guy. But 10% goes to the big guy. He had another one where 50%. And they consider that off limits. You can't. Can you imagine if that were me or my kids? I mean, it would be the biggest scandal. It's a disgrace. And what they do is they shut it down. They will not write anything about it. I never thought a thing like that could happen. I never thought it could happen. In a way, it's a bigger story than the corruption of Biden itself. Joe Biden took 5 days off before the debate because he wanted to practice, and he still lost, like, by a lot. You don't want a president who takes 5 days off to study for a debate. I mean, you do it every day. What are you supposed to study for, really, when you think about it? And now he's taken at least another 4 or 5 days off. But I did hear the breaking news today was he's going to make the speech, as I told you. I want to go hear it. It's so exciting. So exciting. When you're a president, you can't take a day off. You got to work. You got to work. You got to work really hard. For the American people, you got to work. And if Sleepy Joe ever got in, he wouldn't be in charge. The radical left will be in charge of the party. They will do, including fracking. There won't be any fracking. You can forget the frackers out there. Enjoy your life, but it won't be in the life of fracking. That's all over the country, not just in Pennsylvania, because it will be run by the radical left and the Green New Deal, which I thought at first was a hoax. I thought it was like the Russia hoax, okay? I thought it was a hoax. And it wasn't. I don't think they believe it. It's so crazy. $100 trillion. This election day, the people of Pennsylvania must stop the anti-American radicals by delivering Joe Biden and the far-left Democrats a thundering defeat at the ballot box. At the ballot box. Gotta do it. Whether you like hearing it or not, Joe Biden is a corrupt politician. It's a corrupt politician. You don't do that. You don't do that with these countries. We could do it. Would be so easy. It's like they raise all this money, $300 million, and they're saying, oh, Trump is being outraised. I would be the greatest fundraiser. All I have to do is call all the Wall Street guys, call all the guys, call all everybody. I would get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 million every time I made a phone call. But you know what? I could never basically deal with those companies properly again. So I don't do it. And we don't need the money. We got a lot of money for this stuff. We got another 8 days to go. They had like $200 million. A lot of it's small money. You know, $61 average, small money. That's never happened to a Republican before. But this way you don't have to sell your soul. When somebody gives you a lot of money, it's, you know, not to say quid pro quo. I'm sure Joe would never do a thing like that, you know? But the fact is he's making deals. He's making deals. I could do it much easier because I'm much better at it if I wanted to be. And think of it. I'm the president of the United States calling the head of Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs! Listen, who I know them all. I want you to give me $25 million. I'm running the campaign. Please give me $25 million. They never report this stuff. And they would say, where do we send the check? And we can have it there in 1 hour, sir. But I don't want to do that because I'm compromised. Once you do that, you're compromised. They're compromised. They're compromised. The Democrats want to destroy your energy jobs in Pennsylvania while they're collecting for families. But in Joe's case, all of this money that we talked about on boards and everything else, it's a terrible thing. Foreign companies. He wants to send you jobs to China while his family rakes in millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party. That's what it is. I gave up a fortune to run for president, which is true. I lost a fortune on this deal. This is I lost, like billions. Between what I lose and what I didn't make, I lost a hell of a lot of money. And you know what? It's the greatest decision I've ever made because we are doing things that nobody else has ever been able to do. We're helping a lot of people. We're helping a lot of people. Joe Biden made a fortune by serving you as vice president. He made a fortune. Biden will sell the Oval Office just like he sold the vice presidency. The corruption, she said he already has. Yeah, in advance, that's right. The corruption of politicians like Biden, and it is corruption, is exactly why I ran for president. I ran for trade. I hated the trade deals. I saw that. Years ago in Michigan, they gave me the Man of the Year award. I said, why are you allowing them to take all of your car companies and moving them to Mexico and Canada? 32% of our companies were taken out. I said, why are you doing that? So it was for a lot of reasons, this one, but it was also for trade. The trade was so crazy, and now the trade is really good. Biden is the candidate of big media, big tech, big donors. I mean, you think about it. Here I am. Here I stand, right? I am with you. I stand here. Here's who I have against me. The Democrat Party, the rhinos from the Republican Party. I call them the stupid people. They're the stupid. Most of whom I beat because, you know, they all represented one of the candidates in the Republican Party. Then they went sour. I guess I beat them really badly. They've never forgotten. But the rhinos, big tech, I have everybody against. I have rhinos, big tech. I have very bad Republicans. Actually, sometimes the bad Republicans are worse than the Democrats. I really mean it. And we have big tech. And I stand here by myself. And I say, I am the only thing between you and chaos. I am the only thing between you and your Second Amendment. I am the only thing between you and pro-life. I'm the only thing. I'm the only thing. I'm by myself. I'm all by myself. Now, we have some good Republicans, but we have some Republicans that also go. It's a strange thing, right? How some of them, they just go off the track. And they always have. This is not unique to us. They always have for some reason. We have some great ones, but we have some bad ones too. If I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician, if you haven't noticed. And if I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you. And I have fought harder for you than any president has ever fought before. So we're joined by a couple of real warriors that I'd like to introduce. Congressman Scott Perry. Scott, thank you very much. Warrior. Congressman Lloyd Smucker. Two great guys, really fighters. They're warriors. We had some great fights that we've won, haven't we? We have some great people in the Republican Party. Candidate for Pennsylvania State Treasurer, Stacey Garrity. Stacey? Okay, great. Vote for Stacey. You doing well, Stacey? Good? I heard you're doing great. And Chris Cox, Bikers for Trump. Did you ever hear of Chris? This guy. He was great. I went. You know, Chris says thousands of bikers. I don't know why the hell the bikers like me so much, but they like. Chris told me I might be at 99 to 100%, but Chris is great. And no matter where I go, I'd have these bikes, thousands and thousands of bikes. I never saw. And I'd say, come on in. Can you come in? There's no room for the firm, right? They didn't want to come in. They said, sir, we're not here to listen to you speak. We're here just to protect you. We want to protect you. Think of that, right? Now, when they say Big Joe, that doesn't work, but that guy is big. Thank you very much, Chris. Great job you're doing, and I appreciate it. No, it's true. He said, no, sir, we're here for... And I felt so safe. I have these guys, tough guys, definitely tough. And they're sitting on those Harleys mostly, I guess, right? There, that... They felt good. That was never my deal, okay? I like the limousine better. I don't know why. But, you know, they're going boom, boom, and I never felt safer. It's true. There was just a tremendous love that we had right from the beginning, right? 4 years ago, right from the beginning. And it stayed that way, too. We're with them all the way. We built the greatest economy in history, and now we're doing it again. We increased middle-class family income over $6,000, more than 5 times the gains in all 8 years under the previous administration. African American unemployment, Hispanic American unemployment, Asian American unemployment, unemployment for young people that didn't have a high school education. They didn't have a diploma. They had a diploma. They had a diploma from MIT where they were first in their class. It didn't make any difference. Women did so great. Women did great. They all reached the lowest levels ever recorded. Since April, we created a record 11.4 million jobs. And under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. That's beautiful. Walls help. Walls work, don't they, huh? Remember? They said the wall is obsolete. I said, no, a wall's not obsolete, and a wheel is not obsolete. Everything else is obsolete. My opponent's insane immigration plan would eliminate U.S. borders by implementing nationwide catch and release. And I actually heard he said, we want to take down the wall. Do you believe this? Take down the wall. We will never let that happen. We got to win this election. This is the most important. We got to win this election. No, they want to take down the wall. His plan, I don't think, you know what? I don't think Border Patrol would let him. Okay, you want to know the truth? I think Border Patrol would say, Mr. President, we're not letting you get anywhere near this wall, Mr. President. His plan would also make every community into a sanctuary city for violent criminals. The Biden-Harris, how do you like Harris? The Biden-Harris plan would also increase refugees 700%. This was the manifesto that was agreed to with Crazy Bernie and Biden, right? So Biden and Crazy Bernie agreed to we call it the manifesto. 700% increase. The most dangerous places in the world they would come in, 700%. I have a ban. I was criticized for the ban. I said, no, if a country hates us, and if their people hate us, and if they want to do bad things to us, we're going to have a ban. Everybody criticized me, but I won in the United States Supreme Court. And now we don't let them in. If it's okay by the great people of Pennsylvania, we don't let them into our country. We want people that will love us and work with us and be a great help to us. That's what we want. So we have a ban. It was very controversial when I put it in, but it's not so controversial. All you have to do is look what happened the other day in Paris, and you'll see that it's not so controversial anymore. People are very happy that we have it, and we keep a lot of very bad people out of our country. And nobody else would do that. Nobody else would do that, Chris. I guarantee you that. Nobody else would do it. They pledged to terminate all national security travel bans. They want to end the ban. Opening the floodgates to radical Islamic terrorism. No, thank you. I'm keeping the terrorists, jihadists, and violent extremists, those terrible extremists, the hell out of our country, if that's okay. We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military. By the way, all made in the USA. We have the greatest equipment, the greatest missiles. We have the greatest rockets. We have the greatest jet fighter planes, F-35. We have the greatest equipment anywhere in the world. Our nuclear arsenal is totally rebuilt or new. Hope to God we never have to use any of this equipment. Just hope we never have to. By having it, it's less likely we'll have to use it. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. But we have the greatest. When I came in, a highly overrated general, one of the most highly overrated generals there are, said, sir, we don't have any ammunition. Because we could have had a conflict, as you remember, at the beginning. He said, sir, we don't have any ammunition. I said, no president should ever hear that again. And now we have so much ammunition, you won't believe how much ammunition. We also passed VA choice and VA accountability. Everyone said impossible to get it done. And exactly 1 year ago today, we killed the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. And we took out the world's top terrorist. Soleimani is dead. Soleimani is dead. Killed a lot of people, Soleimani. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal, $150 billion, $1.8 billion in cash. How about that? That's a lot of cash. 1.8 billion, nobody's ever even heard of such a thing. 1.8 billion, 5 plane loads of cash. I recognized the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Every president for decades, they campaigned on that. Every president, look at that, that's nice. Every president for decades campaigned. They said, not so easy to do, but I did it. Instead of, and I got the building built, right? Fast. We got it built for a tiny, tiny little fraction of what it was supposed to cost. Instead of never-ending wars, we are forging peace in the Middle East. You saw what just happened. You saw what just happened, right? Sudan yesterday, Sudan, UAE, United Arab Emirates, right? Bahrain, and we have them stacked up. They want to come in. And we did it the exact reverse as I've been trying to do for 40 years. I said, that one doesn't work. And it's all working out very well, and there's no blood in the sand, and they want to come in. A vote for Republicans is a vote for the American dream. It's very simple. It is a vote for the American dream. You know, the Republican Party is the party of Abraham Lincoln, right? I always say, you know, when they start saying this or that, I say, no, it's very easy to be presidential. I can be more presidential than any president in history, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln when he's wearing the hat, right? It's tough to... Actually, doing this is much tougher than being presidential. Doing what I do is much tougher. And if I was presidential, perfectly presidential, there'd be about 3 people like Obama had the other day, 3 people. And in conclusion, over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China, which is already beginning. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. We will uphold religious liberty, free speech, and the right to keep and bear arms. We will hold that. Second Amendment. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency. The biggest thing is price transparency. You will see, goes into effect, already signed. I've signed it, January 1st. The biggest thing, lower drug prices, as I told you, favored nations clauses, biggest decrease in the history. Why do you see that when that kicks in? And we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions, always. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. Always. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great people of Pennsylvania. I'm standing up. For the last 4 years, you've seen me fight for you, and now I am relying on you to deliver a historic victory for our country, bigger even than 4 years ago. Gotta vote. By the way, could I ask, you know, Pennsylvania's it's known as a very late voting state, which is good, which is fine. Very late voting, like Election Day. Very unusual, actually, but I understand it. You want to make sure your vote is counted. You don't want the ballot hoax, because well, you see, they'll have so many problems. You know, they throw away ballots if it has the name Trump on it, boom. They printed ballots. Some ballots, I think 25,000 were printed for a certain state. It was missing one little thing, the name Trump. So a lot of bad things happen, but Pennsylvania's smart. You vote late. Who has voted? Raise your hand. Yeah, that's what happens. This is going to be a red wave. Who is going to vote? Yeah. This is going to be, and I'm glad you saw the last debate. You know, did you hear the number one thing on Google was, how do I change my vote? Did you know that? How do I change my vote? Something like hashtag, did you hear that? Hashtag, how do I change my vote? They watch the debate. I wanted that debate to move way up, you know, because a lot of people voted by this crazy ballot deal. Boy, do you see the mess that thing is going to be in. Well, even your state, they can count them after the election is over. This is a major state. They want to count them. So they don't want poll watchers, and they want to be able to count votes after the election is over. What does that mean? We're going to wait? The whole country is going to wait? So we'll see how it all ends up. It's all in court. It's all a hoax. And let me tell you something. The Democrats know how crooked it is. They know. And then they talk about, he's not for freedom. He's not for freedom. Our president is not for freedom. And he's not looking for an easy transition and safe transition. What about the transition that I had, where you spied on my campaign and you tried to take down the President of the United States? That didn't work out too well. But they want a friendly transition, right, Jeffrey? A friendly. But, you know, the only problem is, look at the transition they gave us. They fought us tooth and nail for years. Russia, Russia, Russia. 48 million spent on Mueller, that whole hoax. 48 million. No collusion, right? So no collusion. $48 million. No, they want a friendly. First of all, here's the main thing. Let's not lose, and then we don't have to worry about it. Okay? Let's just win. We won't lose, so there's nothing to talk about. Let's leave it that way. No, we want everything to be done properly, and we want it to be done absolutely by the book, and we want to go absolutely by our great Constitution. But you know what? When they start talking about this friendly, wonderful transition, and then you see what they put us through, it's really very hypocritical, isn't it, huh? On November 3rd, we must finish the job and drain that very deep and very nasty swamp once and for all. So get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, and get your co-workers, even get your boss. Say, boss, I want to get you out to vote. But get out and vote. Most important election ever. I really believe that. I never thought I'd say it. If you would have told me I was going to say that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would have not believed it. From Erie to Easton, from Pittsburgh to Harrisburg, and from Lebanon to right here in Lancaster. We stand on the shoulders of Pennsylvania patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. This is the state where founding fathers declared American independence. Think of it, what you did. Think of Pennsylvania. Think of it relative to our country. So much has happened, so many important events. It's where the Army weathered its brutal winter at Valley Forge, where General George Washington, don't worry, we will not be taking down the Washington Monument, please don't worry. Cancel culture. Congressman, there'll be no cancel culture. Now, can you believe that? They do. I mean, they actually had a commission, the D.C. mayor. One of the recommendations is Lincoln, Jefferson, Washington memorials. Let's take them out. And they didn't like Mount Rushmore either, okay? Let's blow it right up now. Not going to happen. No, we stopped it. You know, I signed a document. You play with any of our statues or monuments, 10 years in prison. It's amazing how that stopped. All of a sudden, Jeffrey, it just stopped, right? You don't see it anymore. Where General George Washington led his men on a daring mission across the Delaware, and when our Union was saved by the great heroes of Gettysburg. Gettysburg, think of it, Gettysburg. What a place. Never fight uphill, me boys, right? That was Robert E. Lee said, never fight uphill. He heard they were fighting uphill, but they didn't have cell phones in those days. They tried to get them to stop, but they fought uphill. That didn't work out. Think of that, though, Gettysburg, the history. This is the place where generations of tough, strong Pennsylvania workers mined the coal, worked the railroads, forged the steel that made America into the greatest, most powerful nation in the history of the world, and where we are making it far greater than it ever was. We are making it far greater. This nation will be greater than it ever was. And I so believe that. I so believe that. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. That's what's happening. And they don't like that in Washington. With your help, your devotion, and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting. And we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Pennsylvania, we have made America powerful again, our military. We have made America wealthy again, your stock markets, your 401ks. We have made America strong again. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, President Trump wrapping up the second of his triple header today in the state of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He'll now head to Martinsburg, Pennsylvania. We already have a crew standing by in Martinsburg. We're going to try to hurry up because the speakers have already begun there in Martinsburg, so we'll get you there in just a second. I'll let you hear some of this YMCA. Just give me a second to say thank you. Our crews are crisscrossing the country. We're going to be so busy tomorrow. We're going to have 3 rallies, and there's 2 so far the next day, but we're counting on them being more. Thank you so much for your support. This small little media company from Auburn, Alabama is taking mainstream media to task, and we're beating them in the view counts. We can't do it without you, so please support us. RSBnetwork.com/donate. It's the best way to do it. You see there are cameras in Martinsburg. If you are watching live now on the Lititz stream, join us over at Martinsburg. We'll be live there in just a second. God bless you. Going to send it back to Brian Glenn, now live in Lititz. Please support us. Help us to finish this thing out strong. God bless.
There you have it. President Trump wrapping up his stop here in Lancaster County, once again pushing the message of moving forward on November 3rd and the importance of this whole area, this whole state, not only in relevance of the election, but in relevance of our country's freedom, as the state of Pennsylvania has always been significant in this country. And we just recapped several highlights today. President off once again, one more stop in Pennsylvania as he continues to push on right up until Election Day. And of course, we saw a lot of the common bullet points he usually pushes. Strong economy, he's dealing with getting this country back open, and actually talked a lot about the state of Pennsylvania as they are in a lockdown, and very critical of the governor here in the state, asking everyone you need to open up the economy here in Pennsylvania. A big part of what's on stake in the state and in the country is getting us back open post-COVID. And of course, the president reinforcing his foreign policy, making the differences between him and Biden. Once again, we certainly appreciate you tuning in. Coin, it could not be possible without companies like this. And right now, Disney Coins is hit. They are the epitome of made in the USA because they're made right here in America by machines made in America by people who deeply love this country. The coins are made with genuine copper and silver. The coins are valuable, and it makes a great collector. Matter of fact, it makes a perfect gift for this holiday season. It comes in 20+ patriotic designs and 2 new ones at that. And everybody here at Right Side Broadcasting Network, we're collecting them too. We want you to join in as we walk our way into Election Day, collecting these coins. Disney Coins is giving 10% of the profits back to conservative causes and organizations, things that we know is very important to you. Simply go to DisneyCoins.com to check out the inventory and start collecting today your Trump coins. And don't forget to use the promo code RSBN at checkout for an additional discount. And look, while you're there, sign up for the giveaway. They're giving away a lot of stuff, and the more you enter, the more winners you'll have. Go to DisneyCoins.com, DisneyCoins.com, DISME coins.com. We appreciate their sponsorship as well, as fans have come by to show their appreciation of Right Side Broadcasting, because the president, as he normally does, calls out a lot of the mainstream media here as fake news. And while we're proud to say that we are not a part of that fake news, and if you want to donate to all of our causes, go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. That's rsbnetwork.com/donate, as it is important to donate to our causes right here as we continue to bring you all the coverage from the Trump rallies. You can see everyone's making their way out, and it's just, I had a chance to walk around a little bit, talk to a few folks that this was their first rally, and this was actually the first election that they've ever had a chance to vote in. And he mentions the fact that if you look at the polls and you look at how they've been historically incorrect, that a lot of people have made the transition from voting typically Democrat going over to a Republican ticket. And that's certainly going to be the key here and everything. All right, we'll send it back to you guys. As remember, we're on the campaign trail. Stay tuned right here at Right Side Broadcasting. Goodbye and God bless from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
All right, thank you, Brian. We are now going to transition our coverage over to Martinsburg, Pennsylvania. Everyone stand by. If you're watching this on the Lititz stream, please now make your way over to Martinsburg. This is going to be the last one of the day here in PA. We're all over the map, and we look forward to bringing you full coverage of every rally right up until Election Day. So tune in to Martinsburg, PA, and then we will be tomorrow in the states of Wisconsin and Nebraska, and also Michigan. So you don't want to miss it.
every moment between now and November 3rd to make sure that doesn't occur, because we're going to re-elect Donald Trump as President of the United States. For you. Well, let me tell you about my two goals that I have for election, and it's on top. My re-election is one of my top two goals. I believe if you do the right things, God will take care of the rest. But my two goals, number one, between now and November 3rd, is to re-elect Donald Trump as President of the United States. And my second goal is to fire Nancy Pelosi. That looks like